Hey guys, alright, this is Braxton Family Values, Season 4. I believe this is Episode 9. Alright, so this should be a real short review. Don't worry, if you came to watch the episode, it's down below in the description box. The link is down below in the description box, alright? Go ahead, hit your girl up with a like just for hooking you up, alright? Because I'm looking out for you. I'm looking out for you. Alright? Alright, so let's get into it. First off, it's Tamar's show in Atlanta. And, you know, Tamar is, first she has a little meet and greet at her concert with her Tamartians, and they asking her questions, and, you know, how's Logan? And she says he's big. When is Logan going to get another sister? And she was like, what? Do I like a baby factory? I don't think so. And then she's in her confessions like, I know I make yummy babies, but come on now, like, stay out my uterus. So afterwards, you know, they all take pictures. So they're praying, you know, now it's time for the show. And of course, Tamar has already told her sisters that she don't even want to see them, you know, in the audience. And the sisters got a big plan to surprise her doing Hot Sugar and go out there and, you know, do the little dance or whatever. And they've been practicing the routine. So right before the show starts, I think tour manager or whatever, someone, they started doing a prayer. And they did a long prayer, and they said, you know, God, give us the sight to see things that aren't supposed to happen, you know, so ahead of time, so we know what's gonna happen. It was like, dang, okay. And, you know, Trina's like, I'm feeling like we shouldn't do this. So, you know, they go backstage and they're practicing their routine. And their mama stopped by and she's like, what y'all doing? And they like, oh, we just practicing you know, the Hot Sugar routine so we can go surprise Tamar out on stage. And, you know, the mom's like, oh, that's great. That is great. She's going to love it. I think that is just, that's wonderful. I love it. Yeah, she going to be so happy to see y'all. And then it was like, really, Mom? Because she said she don't even want to see us in the audience. And if we said, you know, you think surprising her would be good? Oh, yeah, she might be thrown off a little bit, but I think she'll probably laugh just like I'm doing right now. Yes, y'all go ahead and do that for your sister. And so they go out there they go out there and watch Tamar's performance. They loving the show. Then they gotta get ready because it's time for Hot Sugar. Hot Sugar come on. They walk out. They in their little outfits that they wear for Tony's, you know, performances. So they go out there, you know, Tamar's in all blue, and they're all out there in black. Okay. They go up. And Tamar's like, that's not funny. And they start dancing or whatever. And it makes Trina nervous because she know that Tamar don't want them to be out there right now. And they start dancing. And Tamar takes her water bottle and she flicks the water onto Tracy. Okay, it didn't hit Tracy, but it almost did. She was aiming for Tracy. Definitely. So then, you know, and they were only planned on being out there for 30 seconds. And they dancing and Tamar like, well, y'all might as well just come up here now, since you're already out. So after a few more seconds, they end up leaving out. They going in the back, and Trina and Tracy's arguing. They was like, oh, that was bad. And then Tracy's like, that's because you ain't know your steps. And Trina was like, oh, you should be the one talking. You never get anybody's steps right for any performance. She was like, I got it right this time, okay? So, you know, you was messing up. And then she's like, that's because Tamar wasn't happy. And then Tawana's like, girl, didn't you think it went great? And they're like, no, she hated it. What are you talking about? She's like, no, really, I think it went great. The crowd loved it. You know, this is what they came for, you know, to be excited. And then, like, no, she did not like it or whatever. You was not looking at our faces or our dances, Tawanda, and you wasn't even looking at Tamar's face because you didn't even realize she hated it. And she's like, okay, well, you know, I think it went well. I think it went well. And then Trina and Tracy's like, well, we're going to see what happens when she come backstage. So, after the performance, after the show, cameras come and the security guards tell the camera crew or whatever, it's time to cut the cameras off and for y'all to get out of here. And we like, oh shit. Tamar about to lay in. Tamar is about to lay into their ass right now. It's like they were sitting in the dressing room waiting. It's like that child that's sitting there waiting on their parent to come home when they're in trouble and they know they about to get that ass whooped. That's what it seemed like. They were just sitting there like little kids. So they walk, cameras end up disappearing as requested. And then next thing you know that it's recording Trina, and Trina is saying, well, the tour manager just told us to leave. And then when Tamar and Stylist come up to Trina, was like, no, the tour manager wasn't talking to you. And then she was like, yes they were. I asked them again and they said they were talking to me. So I'm going to go ahead and leave. And he's like, well, Tamar didn't tell them to do that. And she's like, doesn't matter anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave. Next few days later or whatever, Trina, Tracy, Tawanda, and Tony, they're all at lunch or whatever. And they trying to tell Tony what's all going on. And Tony like, what's up with you girls? And they all like, and they all down. And they like, Tony's like, what's wrong? What happened? And she's like, was it really that bad? And they was like, yes, it was. It was bad. She hated it. You know, we did that. We done that for you before. And she, you know, Tracy's like, she threw a water bottle at my head and it missed me by a hair. But I'm supposed to be the violent one that's been, you know, about to jump on her whole life. And Tony's like, no. And they was like, yeah, she cussed us out. You know, we heard her in the other room, the next room or whatever. Everybody could hear her. Her fans could hear her. People down the hall, people down the street. She was cussing. She was doing all kind of, you know, MFBs, motherfucking bitches. And them fat bitches and all kind of stuff. And Tony's like, no. And then like, and it gets worse. She's like, what? And they're like, her tour manager came up to us and asked us to leave. And Tony's like, well, wait a minute, no, Tamar didn't do that. And they like, yes, you know, she sent her tour manager to come, you know, to kick us out. And mommy even asked them, was they talking to us? And they said, yes. And Tony's like, wow, that is crazy. You know, to kick you out, like, and they're like, yeah, she kicked us out like we were some strangers. Straight up strangers. And they so hurt by it. They spirits is all down. And Tony's like, okay, well, I gotta talk to Tamar about it. So, hold on. Trying to get to my notes, y'all. I know I can't say it. Don't get me. But anyways, so the girls, Tawanda and Tracy and Trina, they go meet up with Dr. Sherry. I think Dr. Sherry gave him a call because Dr. Sherry was at the concert also. And Dr. Sherry like, so what's going on? What happened, girls? Because, you know, we were at the concert, it was over, next thing you know, they're asking us to leave, You know, and I left. I don't know if y'all left, but I know I left. And they're like, yes, so we went on the stage and surprised Tamar with the, you know, performance with Hot Sugar. She got mad. She threw a bottle at Tracy. And she came backstage and was calling us all kind of MFBs and fat Bs and stuff like that. Then she kicked us out. And, you know, Dr. Sherry was like, well, how do you think she feels about this? And they was like, we don't know. Like, we thought she would have been happy about it, honestly, because we've done that for Tony a couple of times. And Dr. Sherry's like, oh, so you've done it before. And they was like, yeah, we done it for Tony a couple times. And then Dr. Sherry was like, well, let's think about it from her perspective, okay? She's a new artist who's finally getting her solo time, and she probably just wanted that time for herself. She didn't want to share that spotlight. And they're like, well, we've been performing all of our lives. Like, I don't understand what the problem was with being on the stage. And, you know, Tawana said last year that, you know, she wanted us to come, but Trina went, and she pulled Trina out on the stage, and times she's been in there, you know, to New York or Baltimore, she's pulled Tracy out on the stage with her, and Tracy has sung Love and War. And they're like, you know, Dr. Sherry is basically telling them, well, if you think about it from how she's looking at it, is that she wanted this time to shine on her own because she is a new artist and she just did not want to share that moment. And they would, you know, they're like, okay, well, whatever. And basically they decided they gonna have to talk with, it's gonna have to be all of them to really squash this, to really talk this out with Dr. Sherry or whatever. So next is Tony meets up with Tamar because she want to know what's been going on. And Tony's like, okay, so Tamar, what happened? Because, you know, what happened at the show? And then Tamar's like, all right, well, I'll tell you. We were at the show, and I was doing Hot Sugar, and I turned around, and it's 3 Teletubbies behind me. And Tony's like, you cannot call them Teletubbies. She was like, I'm talking about how they would dress. They would dress like Teletubbies. And then Tony's like, okay. I'm like, Tony, you don't know. They had on your outfits, girl. She might cuss Tamar out for that later on. But, she's like, okay, well, what else happened? I heard you, you know. Oh, she said, Tamar said they would dress like 3 Teletubbies or whatever. And that, she was doing it. She turned around and was like, well, come on. And Tony's like, well, that's not how I heard it. And Tamar's like, well, how you heard it, girl? And she was like, I heard that they went out there to surprise you. And you turned around and you threw a water bottle at Tracy. And Tamar is basically like trying to sugarcoat shit, really, what it is. She says, well, if you ever came to one of my shows, Tony, okay, you would know every show I take a water bottle and I throw it. Okay, I drink some and I throw it. And Tracy just happened to be in the spot that I throw the water, you know, the water. Okay, I didn't throw the actual water bottle, but where I throw the water at. She was in that spot. Okay? And then Tony's like, okay, well, what happened about calling them, you know, cussing them out? Tamar's like, I didn't see them. How did I cuss them out? I didn't see them. And Tony's like, well, I heard you call them, you know, MFBs and fat Bs and all stuff. She's like, honestly, Tony, I can't remember, okay? And she's like, well, what about you kicking them out? She was like, look, I didn't kick them out, okay? My tour manager, he went and kicked them out on his own. I didn't tell them, you know, to kick them out or anything like that. And Tony's like, but this is your show. And Tamar's like, well, I didn't tell, you know, I didn't see none of that. I didn't know what was going on, so I didn't kick them out. And Tony's like, well, I think you should apologize to him. And Tamar's like, I ain't apologize. So they came out on there messing up my set. And, Tony's trying to convince Tamar that it was not like that. That they actually had good intentions. They was just trying to surprise her and support her. And Tamar's like, no. And then, Tony is like, I think you should apologize. And Tamar's like, look, I'm tired of everybody making me the villain, okay? The day after that, I called all of them and I invited them to some show. And then I asked them, do you want to go clubbing afterwards? And they told me no. First they said cool, and then they blew me off. So I texted, and I'm going to show you the texts. And she was right, basically. She was texting them to ask them to go out. I guess that was her way of going to apologize to them. And they ignored her texts. So, it's shit. Really. Tamar did try. I can say that about her. Now, with this, with her cussing them out, I reported that back on one of my celebrity current events video earlier this summer. And she really did cuss them out. Wow. Okay, but it sounded like she cussed them out because they ran out on stage just trying to embarrass her. But come to find out, when you see the show, they actually had good intentions. They actually set this up so it could be right. Anyways, so the girls all go out to dinner, okay? And they start talking about Tracy's album, doing a promo tour. And Tracy's like, yeah, I'm so excited when we gonna do it or whatever like that. And then they start talking about something about Babyface. And then Tony mentions, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I think Babyface should help us work on this album. He should at least, write or produce or just be in charge of it. Or the solo, whatever single. Tamar's like, okay, well, are we going to get the family discount? And then Tony's like, yes, we're going to get the family discount. She's like, okay, because Babyface is expensive. And they start talking about, Tony starts talking about, yeah, Def Jam, when we do this with Def Jam. And Tamar's like, well, why Def Jam? And Tony's like, because that's the only, label that gave us a decent offer. So I think we should do it with Def Jam. And Tamar starts whispering. She's like, I don't want to give my coins up to no label. And Trina's like, what did you say? You don't want to give your coins up to no label? And she's like, yeah. And then Tony's like, well, what are we supposed to do? And Tamar's like, well, let's go independent. And Tony's like, I'm not doing no independent. You spend way too much money. Then they start arguing over figures. Then, Tamar starts telling him she did Love and War. Independent. It's not that serious. It's not that much money gonna be spent. It's not that hard. Tony tells her, well, I got 20 years in the game. You can't tell me this. And they arguing back and forth. Trina's like, well, hold on, Tamar. She knows what she's talking about. And, Tamar's like, girl, don't be getting smart mouth with me. And she's like, no, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but she knows what she's doing. She's paved the way for us. Tamar's like, she ain't paved the way for me, okay? Jesus has paved the way for me. And Trina's arguing back with her, and Tony's like, okay, just stop. And Trina's like, no, Tony, we gonna settle this. Jesus paved the way for you, but Tony paved the way for you also. And she's like, no, Tony has not paved the way for me. Tamar is being stubborn because she does know that her sister has paved the way for her. Okay, let's be honest. If nobody knew who Tony was, nobody probably would know who Tamar is. Telling you the truth. She might not have the platform that, that she has if Tony wasn't her sister. So, Tamar just needs to stop being stubborn on this, okay? And, Trina's pissed off. She's sick of Tamar shit. And they just keep going. And, Tamar ends up calling her, look, bitch. And Trina's like, what did you call me? Did you call me a bitch? The same thing you called me at the show the other night? And the show stops there because basically they're going to get into that next episode. So that's it. I thought this would have been shorter. I guess I had to explain stuff a little bit more. But anyways, full episode down in the description box below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at JazzShopman. And y'all be easy. Alright?